So thank you all for joining. I am Ben Fisher and I am filling in for Julianne today. So I trust you all will keep me in line. If you have not yet, please make sure to put your organization affiliation in your name so that we can make sure that you get credit for attendance. This is being recorded and will be posted on our YouTube page later with timestamps. So please feel free to go back and revisit this. Julianne and Eric had other commitments, so they will not be joining us today, but so there will not be an Office of EMS update. But we do have a couple items to discuss. And as always, if anyone has anything else they would like to discuss, we're happy to do that as well. So to start, I will hand things off to Jen for the FAQ for NEMSIS vendors.
Good morning. So as you know, we've been meeting with some of the vendors, and if we haven't met with you yet, we will. Hopefully we've gotten everybody's scheduled. And one of the things that has been brought up is that sometimes there are new folks that need a tutorial or just some questions answered about NEMSIS, what resources are available, especially when there's major turnover and there's a whole new team and they've never had to do NEMSIS compliance, for instance. So I put together just a quick, usually it could take 30 minutes, it could take 60 minutes if you have a lot of questions, but just something anyone who's interested is welcome to sign up for. I'll walk you through the resources that are on the NEMSIS website, answer questions. In a previous life, I used to do a lot of coordinating between clinical IT and programmers. So I have some tips and tricks on ways to keep track of things or to look at things. It's just basically a kind of a beginner thing, or even sometimes intermediate if you are doing 3.5 and you want to know where the translations are, or you want to know what the changes are, where those resources are. So anything like that, we are trying to put out some more resources for the vendors. So please reach out if you'd like to go ahead and schedule anything. I did do a quick walkthrough with one of our vendors last week or the week before, and I think it went really well and it was helpful. So hopefully. Did anybody have any questions on that or any ideas or things that you think would be good to make sure are covered in that type of get together or meeting?
Just one comment that it was helpful.
I am so glad. All right, well, if anybody has any ideas or there's things that you would like to have covered, or there's anything on the B3 call that you would like to have the compliance team talk about or put out there, please let us know. Don't hesitate to contact us. I am very fond of saying it never hurts to ask. The worst thing that I have ever been told is no. So, please help us help you. And I think that is about it. I'm not sure that Clay has been able to join.
Yep,
I am. Yep,
oh,
I'm
fantastic.
Yes, I am here. Ben, is it okay if I take the 3 items?
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Great to be with you this morning. I apologize, I'm a little late. I had to do a tech check for a presentation later on today. 3 things for me to cover. First, just wanted to let folks know we had a discussion on the last call about duplicate records. Mark raised a concern from California. The concern was that the NEMSIS TAC using the hash that we have traditionally used in the past, either that hash may be overspecified and that we may be introducing duplicates into the database when there are small changes made to the record by billing or other services. Josh mentioned some work that we had done some time ago looking at Oregon records where we did identify some duplicates. I'm just showing here the hash that we traditionally have used in the past, and really the idea was that really you can identify a new record that's being submitted to replace an old one, right? So with a wipe and load process, that you need fewer elements. The one that was the most seemed to be the biggest stickler, at least when we were looking at the Oregon data, was including the unit notified by dispatch date and time into the algorithm was producing duplicates. That value could be changed slightly. Mountain time versus Pacific time code may be added or something, and it may introduce a duplicate by being seen as a new record rather than a replacement. So we've reinstigated this investigation with some newer data, and so we'll keep you apprised of any progress that we make on that. I know it's on our we have a JIRA for it with our staff team, and they're working on it. So that's kind of where we are with that. Just want to let folks know that we're kind of up to date on that. Josh, was there any other side of that, or Mark, any other side of that I didn't cover that you need to make sure we're looking at?
No, but I either had forgotten or didn't realize that event state is also one of the elements currently included in the hash. So I could see that's probably not a huge deal, but if an agency lives on the border of two states and they accidentally recorded the wrong state on a call and then they fix it, that would be seen as a new record.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, very good point. All right, fantastic. So I'll keep this group apprised of some progress that we make there. All right, so let me just talk about the 2021 data set. Sorry about that. We're working now to just put the final pieces to release the 2021 NEMSIS public release research data set. Excited to release this. Again, the data from our point of view, I think with the processes we have in place, is coming in very clean. And we've completed all the checks on the data, and we're just now working on developing the relational tables and the package, and so that research requests for the data can be made. The 2021 data was closed with a total of 53 states and territories submitting data during the year, 13,949 EMS agencies submitting data to the National Repository, for a total number of records of just under 49 million. 48,982,000. So incredible effort by everyone on this call at all levels. And just thank you for your continued support of trying to provide a solid almost census-based research data set that allows such great research to be accomplished. And we have, if folks have looked in Google Scholar lately, we have well over 1,000 peer-reviewed publications using NEMSIS data. Lots of great research and studies that I think is improving our ability to provide out-of-hospital care to the citizens of the U.S. So yeah, again, just thank you for all of the hard work that you do. I have one more item. Let's see if I can bring that up. And that is to bring you up to date into what decisions have been made in regards to the pathway to production process that we've entered into for building kind of the infrastructure to allow for a more kind of standardized and an efficient way of sharing and receiving data from hospital EHRs. And so just to share a couple of thoughts real quick. So we're deep in the throes of getting that put together, still working on the contract. I think we'll have our first meeting next month in May. And so we're excited to get that done. The contract, I think, is all but done, that will allow us to kind of enter into this process. And really, as we've talked about, right, the e-outcomes group under the direction of Josh and the great participants in that group have done really some great work trying to outline the use cases that are going to be important for us to look at. And so the two traditional kind of exchanges of data, of course, is from the ambulance over the scene to a receiving emergency department. And then the one that the outcomes group has been working so hard on, right, is getting the outcomes of patients back to the EMS provider for them to review to determine the performance of the care that they provided. So that's what the HIE pathway to production is focused on, is that outcomes. And so just briefly to give you just a brief overview, this is still some draft slides, but it does kind of just make the point again. You'll remember that slide that kind of just showed the series of events that'll happen over the next 3 years, where we can enter into a development phase where we bring together all of the necessary stakeholders on both sides of the handshake. We define a use case, and then that use case is developed into a product that is tested in connect-a-thons, and then the pathway to production brings together the partners in a way that even helps advocate for the use of that tool and then adoption. One of the things I wanted to just mention quickly is that this is kind of an educational process as well as kind of a development process. And so if you as vendors or you as state representatives who have HIEs within your states, if you wish to participate, there is really training opportunities here. We're going to be moving towards fire implementations, HL7 fire implementations. So there'll be lots of good virtual education pieces associated with this. Of course, as I mentioned, we'll have a cohort of people on both sides of the handshake working together on this piece. And then we'll be able to participate in connect-a-thons. Much of the cost associated with this, particularly for these first 2 steps you see here, will be covered by the NEMSIS TAC. And then if folks wish to participate in connect-a-thons, your traveling there will probably be covered under your own cost. But I think we'll try to do all we can to really allow this to be a useful exercise. So let me see if I can move these through to the next slide. One of the things that we've been kind of concentrating on, and I'm sorry, we're adding logos here as we go, and we'll continue to add them. But what I wanted to show here is that for the EMS developers, as they're being called, the pathway production, we'll have, everyone is invited. I apologize. I just have 5 here listed so far. I will fill this out more. What's important is the EHR developers that we're working on right now are Cerner Epic, eClinicsWorks, and NextGen. So I'm feeling really excited about having those people on board. And then the key interoperability stakeholders that will also be at the table, some participating in the development of the use cases, others tracking with us, are listed here. So we'll continue to build this out. I promise it will be open for all EMS developers, and we'll make sure that everyone is represented and recognized as participating. But what I do want to just ask quickly, if you look through this list, those on the call, who are we missing here as either EHR developers that you'd like to see part of this process, or key interoperability stakeholders that are listed at the bottom of this screen? Are there folks that are not listed here that you feel would be important to have them participating and at the table?
Clay, this is Karen. Would it be important that somebody from the American Ambulance Association participate?
Well, that's a good thought. Thank you.
And I think you could either reach out to Aaron Reinert or Matt Savadsky on that as maybe your first contacts.
Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Happy to reach out to them and see if they're interested. Yeah. Thank you, Karin. That's a good idea. Any other thoughts? Okay. Again, as I mentioned, I think the first event will probably be one of these training sessions, May 25th and 26th. We're going to firm this up. That, as you might imagine, the pathway to production folks are a little hesitant to kind of really dig into this until the contract's in place, but we're very close to having that done. So this will gain a lot of momentum very quickly once we kind of get that in place. So again, those interested in ensuring that we're having the kind of seamless exchange of data, both receiving EMS data and then receiving patient outcomes data back, we'd love to have you join us. I will ask one more question I think that would be valuable that I wanted to make sure we had a chance to talk about, and that was this idea of what use cases we want to concentrate on. So if you look at the California SAFER model and other models or mechanisms that are in place, there's clearly lots of valuable exchanges, real-time exchanges of patient information during, before, or after a patient contact, after an EMS call. We've chosen to talk about really concentrating on the two endpoints, that is getting NEMSIS data into the emergency department, into the EHR upon arrival of the patient or before the patient arrives. And then the other was getting data back from the hospital into the hands of the providers. So when we have an external advisory group kind of associated with NEMSIS, a couple of vendors are on that call, other folks interested in kind of interoperability of data. We asked them just this last week, what do you think is the most important things to concentrate on? And in that meeting, they talked about those two endpoints, right? The hospital receiving endpoint and then the hospital export endpoint and the NEMSIS endpoint, or a point of that data coming back into the NEMSIS record, what that looks like. I haven't taken a look at who's on the call. Sean from ESO was, I was in that group, and I had a couple of representatives, I think, from Image Trend there as well. Are there other exchange points that are acting as bottlenecks, particularly when there's a variety of different ways, I think, that data is being exchanged, whether it be by No2 or by carry quality? There's lots of different models that are being used. Are there other exchanges that we should be concentrating on when we're working through pathway to production?
Other use cases, you mean?
Yeah, David. Are there other kind of more poignant use cases that we should be considering? I mean, the SAFER model has lots of exchanges going on. I don't know that we can like eat the entire elephant, but is there other use cases, David, that you're seeing with Beyond Lucid that we should be considering?
So I think the exchange from your field provider to an air vehicle, and then we've done things where we just skip over that, and the field provider is able to provide directly to the hospital or to a secondary hospital as well. I'm not sure if those are poignant, but I'm not quite sure if they're covered.
Okay, that's good. That's good to consider. Thank you. I've got those two. Okay. Any other thoughts on use cases that maybe we'll be in this process for 3 years? We're signing a 3-year contract, so I think we may be able to do kind of multiple complete processes, right? So we may have 1 or 2 use cases that go through this entire pathway to production, but then maybe we'll be able to go back and run something else through if there's something else that we've seen poignant. So we don't need to try to tackle everything at once, but it would be good to know if there's other things we should be thinking about, other use cases. Okay. Josh, I'll put you on the spot too, if that's okay. Josh will continue to help us with this process. He's done a great job with the outcomes group, and the use cases you see here on your screen are the ones that the outcomes group developed with Josh. Josh, are there other kind of questions or other things that we could ask on this call that would be helpful, or have we covered it?
Yeah, I think we've covered it. I think the consideration that David mentioned is important, that it's not just the ambulance that showed up at the hospital that would want to share their report with the hospital. Could be other agencies that were involved in the call. So I think that's good to make sure that we keep that in the scope of these use cases. Yeah, and then we might take other use cases and put them on like a 2nd or 3rd tier priority, because I know that there are exchanges that go to other places or come from other places, but are not as pertinent to like the immediate ongoing care of the patient, which I think is kind of our main focus here.
Yeah. Great, thanks, Josh. And in the chat, happy to share these use cases. So we'll share this document that Josh has been working on with the outcomes group, and just thank you to the outcomes group. This was great work that they have been doing over the past year, and really made some great progress. We're hoping all of those folks are interested in just jumping over to the pathway to production. The value there is we were developing what I think are fantastic use cases, but in a bit of a vacuum, and that we didn't have the EHRs in the room. This will be incredibly valuable to have them in the room and have their considerations as to what's easiest. How do we facilitate this? What could those endpoints or receive points look like? So, okay, great. Any other questions regarding path to production before I turn it back over to Ben? Okay. All right. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it.
All right. We don't have an update from the Office of EMS. Eric had another commitment. I do want to highlight we have a public training on May 3rd, where I'll be talking about some current research using NEMSIS data. And before we head into open forum, Cassie, I saw I missed a chat message from you about the hash and an issue with times. I'm not sure if you want to talk about that or ask anything. We're more than happy to take a moment.
Just referencing to Mark's comments, is the main issue Georgia's seeing with those duplicated cases is mainly associated with any update to that e-time element of initial dispatch. We're seeing the same issue here in Georgia, and it's causing a lot of issues as far as Georgia does require agencies to submit their data to us within 24 hours. And those duplicated cases are making their average submission times greater than what they actually are, because we require our agencies also to go in through, if they use a third-party vendor and not our state software, then they have to go in through that PCR system, update the record, and then submit it to us. And so that also is causing another issue, and it's mainly associated with the times. But I know Mark has multiple issues over in his state, but I just wanted to chime in and say, you know, Georgia's seeing the same things.
Yeah, that is helpful feedback, and I know that that's something that we'll, as we continue to look into it, hopefully have some updates on our progress there. So thank you. We'll head into the open forum. If anybody has anything else, more than happy to talk about or discuss.
Hey, this is Ed Mills calling with Florida Department of Health.
Morning.
Morning. I wanted to ask a couple of questions. We're doing a really comprehensive review looking at what we've done in the past in regards to 3.4, what we have in our current, processes, and checking against 3.5 and using the website. There's the one section with the technical resources and then the data dictionaries and XSD. There's a V3.5.0 changelog PDF document in there. And on the front page, it basically says that it is critical patch 1. It's under a section for critical patch 3. Do we know that that is the latest version and the last version you guys have out there right now? Like that is the most current, and it is technically critical patch 1. There's been nothing for critical patch 2 or 3 that's needed to be put out there.
I will need to defer to either Josh or Jen, but I believe that that is correct.
I don't know. I'll have to take a look.
Yeah, let us take a look, and we will get back to you on that.
Okay, because I got a little bit of a follow-up on that too. A little bit lower in that, there's also a section, and it's the additional documents for V3.5.0. And there's something in there that's the V3 summary of changes, and it's an Excel document. This one appears to only be like the initial changes that came out before any of the critical patches. I've kind of been comparing that against the other PDF document and seeing a lot of differences there. So I guess the next question is, do we have anything that has an Excel document with all of those changes from the patches in there? And if nothing else, is there something that actually shows the delta changes that have happened between each one of the patches? Just trying to find something that when we go through, we can actually look at it, have it in Excel format versus going in and trying to dissect that PDF document and figure out every single one to make sure that we've captured everything in our changes.
Yeah, Ben, can you share screen, or I can share screen? I'm trying to follow here, Ed's.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at the right document here. Let me. So I just want to make sure. So this is in that data dictionaries and XSD, and this is in the additional documents for 3.5. Is that correct?
Yep. The Excel document is the one at the very bottom, that V3 summary of changes.
Okay.
Yeah, and here's Ed, where you're wondering whether this has all of the changes enumerated, including critical patch 1.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me look into that a little bit more, and we will get back to you. I want to make sure I don't give you an incorrect answer.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
was
and
there a second document that you mentioned, or just that one?
There's the other, if you can go back, Ben, it's on the other one is up top, and that's the PDF. That's that one that one right there.
Yeah, click on that. And that includes
and you see that it shows critical patch 1 there, but it's under critical patch 3 on the website. And so, but in here, it's like, the spreadsheet has it to where it's like labeled almost line for line, versus in here, you have to go in and break down and look at each individual change. And you'll see, like I say, yeah, you'll see that it has, and some of these have multiple items that are against each element. Some of these, like these ones here, change constraints. You see what old was and new. That's pretty easy to see. But some of these will have like 3 different items against them, like that one right there for deconfiguration 01. Change name, definition ID, definition, ID, data element, comment. So then you'd have to go through and go look at these, and then we'll have to put them into a spreadsheet to make sure that we're actually capturing every one of those, which we've already done this research, but a lot of this was done when it was initially out.
Oh, and 3.5 was initially out. Okay.
Yep.
I don't think there's been any critical patches other than critical patch 1. Ed, why did you say it was like under critical patch 3? Where are we mislabeling?
If you can go back to the website.
Yeah, we're currently on CP3.
Yep, right
Oh,
there
we
where
are.
it says NEMSIS
Oh.
version CP3.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Okay.
So before we go in and go do like a lot of research and try and dissect this thing down, we want to see if anything else exists that we can use. And if nothing else exists, we just want to make sure we're on the most current one so we don't do it and then go, uh-oh, okay, we'll do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll go back and reconstruct those and make sure that everything is current. Yeah. Oh yeah, good catch, Ed.
Okay. Well, thank you. And let us know if there's anything we can do on our side, like to look at it to help, whatever, just let me know.
Yeah. Okay.
Would you be able to put together the spreadsheet like he was asking about, Clay?
Yeah. We'll take a look at that spreadsheet as well. Can you go down a little bit? I just want to remember where that is, Ben. Yeah, the changes there in the in the Excel spreadsheet. Okay. Yeah. We'll take a look at that as well. Yeah, I think I've captured everything here that Ed has mentioned.
Fantastic.
You do that spreadsheet, Clay, you'll be on my Christmas list.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else for open forum?
Hi, this is Anne. You may have covered this at the very beginning before I got on the call. Is there any update as far as the annual meeting with I'm trying to stay on top of our travel office here with accommodations and stuff. And since no one's traveled in about 2 years, everybody's very confused. So the sooner I can get information, the better. And I just wanted to see where that was at.
Okay, great, Anne. Yeah, we can give you a little bit of an update on that, and then would love to know exactly what we can do to help you there. So I just an update in regards to the folks who submitted for some financial support to attend. We've had initial conversations with the Office of EMS, and I think everybody that submitted before the deadline, I think we're going to be able to being able to offer some financial assistance to everybody who submitted. We'll kind of formalize that, and there's a number of forms we need to complete with the Office of EMS before we can move forward. But we'll do that as quickly as possible. And then Ann, I think we posted the letter that provided the invite. Are there other resources we can provide, Ann, that can help your group with the decision to?
I gave that to my travel office, and luckily we have the money to go, and I have unofficial approval to go, but I think I can't run everything through till they have an estimate cost of the lodging. So I was wondering about that. Yeah.
Okay. I think we have that. The last time I kind of checked in with Monet and folks. We'll make sure that that's actually on the letter too. Maybe we need to update that letter, because I think in the past we've tried to provide those estimates on the letter because several states require those estimates.
Hey, where's the letter? On the
that's a good question. Is Monet on the call? I know she's working on some other.
I am on the call, Clay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I got a letter from Monet, which was really helpful, by the way. Thank you, Monet.
Thank you. And yes, Clay, we did include the cost breakdown information on the letter to the state managers. We have a letter drafted for the software vendors and other general participants. I'm waiting for approval to post the letter. I believe Julianne wanted to get some additional information before we actually post everything on the website, but we're very close.
Okay, great, Monet. Just for clarification, so the state letter that hasn't been posted yet either. Is that right?
Yeah, the state letter was sent directly to each state manager. It's not on the website.
Okay.
But I have a letter drafted for the vendor community as well. And we're just waiting to post that information on the website.
Okay, great. We'll work hard to get that posted this week. I think we should be able to finish that. And I talked to Julianne this morning about the letters as well. So we should be able to get that posted quickly. And any state participant who may be attending or for a state, if you need the letter, please just send me an email or Monet an email and we'll get it out to you right away. So Karen, if you need a copy of the letter, just let me know.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for that information.
Great. Anything else? All right. Well, unless anyone has anything else, we have our next meeting on May 11th. And we look forward to seeing you all there. And I think that concludes everything. If you haven't had a chance to update your name and organization affiliation in the participant list, please don't forget to do that before you disconnect so we can make sure that you get credit for your attendance. Otherwise, thank you all, and we will talk to you all soon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.